All right, Miles, let's talk about the Houston Texans. This is a team that's been in the news a lot this offseason for all the right reasons. They made a lot of big time moves, of course, bringing in D'Amico Ryans, drafting CJ Stroud, drafting Will Anderson, adding in Mason, bringing a lot of guys into this fold. This roster is completely retool. It looks like they're heading in a great direction as we get ready for 2023. But there's one move the Texans made that has actually gone under the radar a little bit that looks like it could be potentially just as big as any of their other additions.
Yeah, Nick, I think this move made by the Texans is probably going to be, season defining. I think this is going to be really, really important in the development of a few young key players on this team. And I'm really excited about it. But I want to ask the Texans fans in the comments section below today. We know there's a lot of young, budding superstar talent on this team, but that's not what we want to know about. We want to go back through the history of the Texans and talk about who are guys that were average Joes, the real grinders, the hard workers of this team who didn't get the credit they deserve. Let us know someone who donned the Texans uniform and to fit that description in the comments section below. But Nick, let's get on into it. What is the big move made by the Texans?
Yeah, so obviously, anytime you bring in a rookie quarterback with the top 5, top 2 pick, in this case with the Houston Texans, he will be the future of your franchise. Your franchise success will depend, in the Houston's case, how CJ Stroud develops. And the most important relationship for that young quarterback is that offensive play caller. In this case, it's the offensive coordinator, sometimes the head coach. And I think that's why the Texans bringing in Bobby Slowik from the San Francisco 49ers is probably their biggest move of the offseason, outside of course, bringing in Ryan and Stroud. We've got a report from the Toro Times kind of highlighting that, Mize, if you want to go ahead and throw it up. All right, when the Houston Texans elected to bring in a new coaching staff this offseason, they did so with the full intention of building the foundation from the ground up. One of those core pieces is new offensive coordinator Bobby Slowik. Like I mentioned, a disciple of the Kyle Shanahan coaching tree in San Francisco, Slowik developed into one of the premier assistant coaches during his time in the Bay Area. The 36-year-old's influence as the team's passing game coordinator is a huge reason why new Texans head coach D'Amico Ryans made it his mission to bring him along for the ride. The move has been met with a bevy of praise, including a recent show of support from 49ers star offensive tackle Trent Williams, who, by the way, Williams is a great player. He's a straight shooter. He's 100% honest, like him, love him, hate him. However you feel about Williams, he definitely speaks his mind 100% of the time. That's the kind of player he is, the kind of man he is. So that's why what he says here is really impactful. All right. In an interview with Aaron Wilson of KPRC2, Williams affirmed that the Houston Texans brought aboard one of the league's finest coaches. Yeah, I think they got a steal, Williams said. He could be a staple for this organization for a long time. He's a very talented coach. Obviously, his pedigree, played this game for a long time, played it the right way, and he coaches it the right way. I think he's going to have a lot of success out here, talking about his time in Houston. All right, Mize, look, Slowik in his relationship with CJ Stroud is going to be the most important dynamic for Houston going forward. I love D'Amico Ryans. I love a lot of the additions they made on defense. I love a lot of the moves they made at the skill positions and at the offensive line for the Houston Texans. But this franchise success, both in the short and long term, will rely 100% on CJ Stroud and, by his extension, his relationship with Slowik. And the fact that Slowik right now is continuing to get nothing but praise, even from people like Williams, who has no more skin in the fight anymore, right? He has no relationship with Slowik. He no longer is obviously not longer on the same team. Williams, honest guy, blunt guy. He had no reason to come out and be so positive unless he absolutely believed in Slowik and his future going forward, helping CJ Stroud. I think this is great news for the Houston Texans, Miles. I'm curious what your thoughts are on this. But before I throw it over to you, I want to remind everyone to stay tuned to the end of the video to hear a word from our partner, and that, of course, is Neuro. They have a lot of great products that give you a fast and simple boost of energy. So make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video to learn more about Neuro and to get access to our special discount code. But all right, Miles, I'll throw it over to you now. What do you think of these comments and everything involving the Houston Texans right now?
Yeah, Nick, I think it's really crucial because, like you said, Trent Williams would know this. But we go back and we take a look at the Kyle Shanahan coaching tree, and I think we get a lot of information about how some of these coaches are going to do based on some of how his other disciples have done as well. You look at the defensive side of the ball first. Robert Saleh in New York has really made that defense something special. So that gives me all the thoughts that D'Amico Ryans, who's also under the Kyle Shanahan coaching tree, will do very well. Then we look at the offensive side of the ball, which I think is the most important and gives us the most precedence for a guy like Slowik and how he'll do. We see Mike McDaniel and the magic that he has truly pulled off in Miami. It is looking very creative, very high-powered offense down there. Then we look at Matt LaFleur as well. He did very, very good. So I think both of these guys give us precedence that Slowik could come in, really change around the Texans. I think that this offense is going to be extremely dynamic going forward. I think it's a perfect time to add in a guy like this to help get CJ Stroud's career going in the right direction. Because if Mike McDaniel, coming from that same coaching tree can turn around Tua's career, really show that he is like some all-pro level talent, give him all of the resources he needs to. We saw that jump. I can only imagine from the beginning what CJ Stroud is going to look like playing under a guy like Slowik, who really seems like a very strong offensive mind. Do you think that plays any factor into this, Nick?
Oh, 100%. And look, one of the things the 49ers have done under the Shanahan tree, and you've seen it with some of his disciples, whether it's McDaniel, whether it's with Sean McVay and the Rams, whether it's what Zach Taylor has done, a McVay disciple in his own right, has done with the Cincinnati Bengals, is that they make the game very simple and easy for the quarterbacks. That's why the 49ers can win games, whether it's Jimmy G or Brock Purdy or whoever's behind center, because they clear up the picture, they make it easy, and they play to their quarterback's strengths. They understand defensive weaknesses and how to attack them and the easiest way to do it. And I think that's what we're going to see a lot of with Slowik implementing for CJ Stroud. But here's another element to remember too. The 49ers, and I know Slowik was a passing game coordinator guy, but he was exposed to the Shanahan running scheme. They are deadly running the football. And who is the Houston Texans' biggest offensive weapon last season? In my opinion, a lot of people's opinion, Dameon Pierce, rookie running back last season on the University of Florida. This guy was a beast last year. I think he's going to be absolutely massive. You pair him with Singletary, who they added this offseason. I think this Texans running game is going to be dynamic, and that will continue to help CJ Stroud a lot more as well. Again, there is nothing easier for a quarterback to do than to play action, bootleg, and hit a tight end or a crossing wide receiver who's wide open and watch him run for 50 yards. That's what Brock Purdy did with the 49ers last year, and I think we're going to see a lot of that with CJ Stroud in 2023 and beyond. All right, Miles, we would like to give a special thanks to our partner in today's video, Neuro.
That's right, Nick. And I want you to go with me on a journey really fast. I want you to imagine this. It's 4th and goal in the big game, Nick. Your team is relying on you to make the big-time game-winning play. I know you've been in this situation before, Nick. The stadium is roaring. The clock is ticking. The game is on the line. But if only in that moment you were able to have some Neuro gum. Neuro gum will help you stay concentrated, and it gives you a burst of energy without a nasty crash.
That's right, Miles. Neuro has thoughtfully curated ingredients and does endless lab testing, which means that you can reach the right state of mind safely and consistently. That's the most important part. It gives you a clean burst of energy and focus without the jitters of coffee or any of those other energy drinks.
That's right, Nick. And if you click our sponsor link in the description below, you can enjoy energy, calm, and focus whenever you need it.